Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. So, Bill Daly dropped us an absolute bombshell this weekend with the NHL considering expansion to Texas for the 2029-30 NHL season, and it's all thanks to a man by the name of Dan Friedkin. But more on him later. I just want to compare the two cities in consideration, which is Houston and Austin. So, Houston is the fifth largest metropolitan area at 7.5 million people, and Austin is the 32nd largest metropolitan area in the USA at 2.5 million. So it's about a third of the size. But it's not as simple as that. Both sites have quite a bit going for them, and let's break down how that really goes. So first of all, let's talk pro sports teams. Houston has the NFL Texans, the NBA Rockets, the MLS Astros, and or the MLB Astros, and the MLS Houston Dynamo FC, which is their soccer team. However, Houston only has a soccer team, which is Austin FC. However, they also have the Texas Longhorns in the NCAA, which is not a pro team, but it is considered a massive, massive sports draw. Um, Houston has, of course, other Division One teams in the MLS, but they pale in comparison as far as the Longhorns go. So there is a lot of sports competition in Houston, and not so much any sports competition in Austin, or barely any. I mean, there's a bit, but there's a lot of meat on the bone in Austin, where there's a lot of competition in Houston. So, what do both cities have to offer? So, first of all, Houston is a large blue-collar city. They already have an NHL and NBA arena, and I wrote here Pat Tillman because Pat Tillman has always had interest in adding a NHL team to Houston. He is, of course, the owner of the NBA Rockets, and that arena can be converted into an NHL arena. In fact, the AHL, which had a team there, it was the Dallas Stars AHL team. I think it was about a decade ago. But they have since moved on to Iowa because there was a bunch of scheduling conflicts with the NBA Rockets. So they couldn't, I guess, see eye to eye with their scheduling. It didn't work out, so they had to move the team. So could an NHL team play in the Rockets arena? Yes. Do they want to? Probably not. It looks like Dan Freeman does want to build a new NHL arena in either Houston or Austin, and it may just come down to which city will let him do it for the least amount of money, I guess, or whichever city offers them the most public funds. Whichever way it shakes down, but it seems like they need their own arena because I don't know if they can play in the NBA Rockets arena because, you know, Pat Tillman wanted a team, and now a new guy's coming in, buying a team. Will he play nice with him? Maybe not, right? So it did not work out for the AHL team. I just wanted to highlight that the capacity is 17,800, and then Austin's largest arena over here, their capacity is at 6,800. So yeah, you could play briefly in there, but you would also need to build a new arena as well. Just like kind of Utah played in an NCAA arena for, was it a 1 year or 2 years? I can't remember. But they played there short term until they moved into their new arena. So what does Austin have to offer? Because, of course, they are so much smaller. So far, the only thing they have to offer is that there's no sports competition, essentially. So Austin is a smaller city with a growing tech and music scene. So a lot of large companies have left, like states like California and other places, due to high taxes, and they've come to Texas and specifically Austin because of low taxes and a bunch of government incentives that have led a lot of these companies to build large buildings, large industries there in that city. Companies like Tesla, Meta, Oracle, Amazon, and Dell. So they do have a lot of disposable income there. Per capita, the people are making a lot more money there. And of course, they are drawing young professionals from other areas of the country. Of course, South Texas is not known for being huge on hockey. I mean, it's hot as hell over there. But they are pulling in people from, traditional areas in the States, like the northern states. I'm sure they're pulling in a lot of these tech people down there. So there may be a lot more hockey fans per capita in Austin. So it does have that going for it there. But, it's hard to compete with Houston being the fourth or fifth largest metropolitan area. I say that Dallas-Fort Worth is the fourth largest. Some people count that as two metropolitan areas, but I see it as the same. But anyways, despite having so much competition. It is such a large city. It's built off of oil and gas, medicine, shipping. There's a large shipping port there, agriculture, NASA's there. Houston, we have a problem. We all know that line, right? So that is basically the comparison between the two teams. But it may just come down to whichever city lets Dan Friedkin build an arena for the amount that makes the most amount of sense, right? I also want to take a look at previous expansions that happened. So this expansion apparently is going to cost $2 billion. That's right, you heard it, $2 billion. Last time this happened, 10 years ago, Vegas came into the league in 2016 at $500 million, which is a quarter of $2 billion, basically. And then 2 years later, Seattle came in 2018 at $650 million. So it is getting more and more, but not that huge jump that we just seen right now. And then I also wanted to talk about Utah 2 years ago in 2024. It's not an expansion team, but it was sold for $1.2 billion. $1 billion went to Meruelo, who was the owner of the Coyotes, and the remaining $200 million was dispersed to the other owners, kind of like an expansion dispersal would essentially go down, because the 500 and 650 million was split between all the owners of all the other teams. Just like this $2 billion would be split with all the other teams as well. And I think that it's going to include Vegas and Seattle this year because they are not brand new teams. Of course, that'll include Utah as well. So apparently it has jumped very high because the growth of the league has been very good. It's been very healthy. So they're doing really well. It costs $2 billion, apparently. That's the going rate. So who is this mystery owner? Dan Friedkin. He's the CEO of the Friedkin Group, okay? So his family, I should say, made their fortune with the Gulf State Toyota. So that was his dad that made this company, and they're basically this Toyota/Lexus conglomerate, not just in Texas, but all the Gulf State areas. So it is kind of like a franchise system over there, and they have hundreds of franchise dealerships out there. So that was established by his dad. Dan took over, and he has since, in 2020, gotten the sports bug because he bought AS Roma, which is a massive soccer team in the top Italian circuit, okay, in the city of Rome. I mean, that's a massive city on its own. It's the capital of Italy, for example. And then 4 years later, he bought Everton FC, and that is another major soccer team in the UK. So, of course, he wants to move on to hockey, apparently. And I should also specify, he doesn't just do that. He has plenty of luxury hotels. He has resorts. He has a film company. So these are all things that are all relevant to owning a hockey team. So he seems like a perfect owner, is experienced with sports management, has a ton of money. I mean, he's got a $2 billion that he can somehow, liquidate and buy an NHL team. And $2 billion is absolutely massive. So I'm pretty excited to see a new NHL team. I'm sure you guys are. You guys clicked on the video, right? Well, why don't you guys let me know in the comments, which city do you think would be better? Would it be the massive city of Houston or the up-and-coming tech hub of Austin, Texas? I'm not sure which one it comes down to. Again, it may come down to whichever city lets them build an arena, but I'm very interested to hear what you guys think on that subject. And lastly, I also wanted to highlight, just for fun, this new, either Houston or Austin, they're on the same latitude. They would be the second hottest place in the NHL to play outside of the two Florida teams. So I guess third, right? Because that's two hockey teams. But quite interesting for an NHL team which plays its game on a sheet of ice. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I know my snake does as well. This is one of my ball pythons. She is a blue-eyed leucistic. She is all white and yellow with some blue eyes. But thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Please like and subscribe for some more sports breakdowns, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.